sit on your mat with your legs stretched in front of you. Start to wake the joints of the fingers and toes up by giving them a little wriggle. And then begin to shake the hands from the wrists and knock the insides of the feet together. And then point and flex the feet and the hands, allowing the hips to move. As you do so, waking up the wrists and ankle joints, and then begin to make little circles in one direction and then the other with your wrists and ankles. And now take deep breaths in and out as you begin to roll the shoulders in big backward circles, allowing the head to organically move up and down, releasing any tension in the neck, the shoulders and the upper back. Now come onto all fours, tuck the toes under and lift the knees up and down off the floor just to wake the toes up a little more, and then bring the elbows down to the floor under the shoulders. Take hold of the opposite elbow to make sure you've got the right width, and then interlace the hands. As you breathe in, lift the knees off the floor as you come into a low plank and reach over the hands with your chin. As you breathe out, return to the original position. Just do that a few times to wake the shoulders up and prepare them. And then come back onto all fours. Make sure that the hands are underneath the shoulders and the fingers are spread. The knees come under the hips, and begin a little cat-cow. Always remember with cat-cow to never initiate the movement from the neck or the lower back. Start the movement from the center of the spine, and the tailbone and head will follow. As you breathe in, engage the abdominal muscles as you arch the spine down. The head and bottom will slowly come up, and as you exhale, arch the spine all the way up, and the head and the tailbone will naturally tuck in and continue. Sit back on your heels, stretch your arms in front of you and rest in child pose. If you prefer to put a rolled blanket underneath the bottom, between the bottom and the legs, that's more comfortable, do that. Otherwise, just sit on the heels, stretch your arms and breathe into your open back and release. And now come back onto all fours. Take your right hand and thread it behind your left as you bring the right shoulder to the floor. Place the left hand on your left hip or stretch it all the way up and turn to look at your left hand and breathe as you release any tension in the right shoulder. Take a few deep breaths here and then do the same on the other side. Back onto all fours and make a tabletop with your back. As you breathe in, turn to look over your left shoulder as you swing your hip to the left. Breathe out back to the center, and then breathe in. Look over your right shoulder as you swing your hip out to the right, and exhale back to center. I'm going to show this to you from different angles. Just keep repeating, looking over your shoulders. If you're trying to look at your bottom, imagine you have a tail and you're trying to look at your tail, And as you breathe in and look over that shoulder, really open up the other side of the body and continue. And now, sit back on your heels again. In baby pose, stretch your arms in front of you. Take deep breaths as you slowly walk your hands round to the right side of your body. Keeping the body low, walk round as far as you can and breathe into the left side of your body, really feeling that you're releasing any tension and opening up the side of the body. And then when you've taken a few deep breaths this side, walk round to the other side and do the same. And then back to center and breathe into child pose. Let's do a puppy dog stretch. So from child pose, bring the bottom up so it's sitting directly over your knees. Stretch your arms in front of you and arch the chest towards the ground and breathe deeply into that puppy dog stretch. Come back onto all fours and then bring the knees behind the hips and bring the hips forward so that you're in a plank position but with your knees on the floor. And from here, take your hips and make a big circle around your knees, breathing deeply as you do so. Swing the hips out to one side, sit back towards the heels and then to the other, and then come to the front. Do this a few times in one direction and then change directions. Now bring your left foot between your hands and take care that the knee doesn't overshoot the ankle and it sits over the foot. Slide your right leg behind you so that the knee is on the floor but behind your hip and you're sinking into the hip. Place the hands on either side of your left foot and breathe deeply. If you want to do a more challenging version, either bring your hands up to your thighs just above the knees or raise them up and look up through the hands. But be sure to sink into the hips to really get that hip flexor stretch and then lower the arms down to either side of the body. Place your left hand on your left hip as you twist the torso towards the left but keep the hips facing forward. You can either stay here and breathe or lift the back knee off the floor. And if you want to take it further, raise your left arm up and turn to look at the left hand and breathe. Sweep the left arm in a backward circle and bring the left hand to the outside of the left foot. Turn the torso towards the right and turn the right foot out. Sweep the right arm up to form a diagonal line from the right fingers to the right toes and breathe. And then sweep the right arm up in a backward circle and bring it to the floor on the inside of the left foot and come up into pyramid pose. Straighten both legs with both feet facing forwards, hands on either side of the left foot, but use blocks if it's too much to have the hands on the floor. Bring the left foot back, right foot forward so that you're swapping it over, and we're doing the same sequence on the other side. Relax in child pose for a few breaths. Sit with your legs stretched wide apart, and then bring your right foot into the left thigh. Turn to look at the left foot and fold forwards over the left leg. If you can take hold of the toes, then do, or place your hands on your leg or on either side of the leg as you fold, or you can use a belt around the foot. But the important thing is not to drop the head lower than the rest of the spine. So keep the neck and the spine in a nice straight line so you don't lose the stretch, and forward fold rather than down. Breathing deeply, releasing the spine, releasing the legs. Place your right hand on your right knee as you twist the torso to the right, holding on to your left foot, your left toes with your left hands or using your belt. Breathe into that side stretch. You can place your right hand on your right hip, or you can stretch it straight up, or you can stretch the right arm over the right leg. Do the version that works best for you. I'm doing the full version now by taking hold of my left foot with my right hand and sweeping my left arm across the body. But do the version that works for you and breathe. Sweep the right arm behind the body and then stretch over with your left arm. Take a few deep breaths here and then release. Bend the left leg, bringing the left foot towards your left buttock. Reach over with the right arm into a nice mermaid side stretch as you hold the left leg with your left arm. And then bring the right hand to the floor on the right side of the body and stretch over with your left arm. And then turn the torso towards the ground as you reach forward with the left arm and then the right, bringing the forehead to the floor and breathing deeply into the back. Now you can stay here, or you can take it a little bit deeper with a nice thigh stretch. Slowly walk the hands back to the torso. Take hold of the left foot with the left hand. As you draw it towards the buttocks, make sure that the left thigh is facing the ground so it's not twisting. You can stay there, or you can do the bind as I have, where you hook the left toes in the left elbow and then take hold of your left hand with your right hand as you stretch over. And breathe deeply. on the other side. With your legs stretched in front of you. Inhale as you reach the arms up, and exhale, fold forward and take hold of your toes, or wherever you can reach, or you can use a belt. You can place your hands further up the leg or on the floor. You choose. But take care to keep the spine neutral, so the neck and the spine are in a nice straight line, and you don't drop the head or chin lower than the rest of the spine. And breathe deeply. The other thing to remember when forward folding is to make sure the knees are not locked. Keep them soft. Sitting in a cobbler's pose with the feet, the soles of the feet brought together, and take hold of the ankles or the tops of the feet as you bounce the knees up and down. Make sure the spine is nice and straight, and breathe normally. Press the knees down towards the floor. Keep them still as you begin to turn the head very slowly from side to side. Inhale to the left, exhale to the right. Lay back on your mat, keeping the soles of the feet together and making sure the lower back stays on the floor as you breathe deeply. And bring the knees together, stretch the legs on the floor in front of you, and hug the right knee into the chest tightly. Take a couple of breaths. And then take hold of the right big toe with the right hand and bring the thigh and the torso towards each other. If you can't reach your toes, that's fine. Use your belt to do this. Or if you don't have one, just take hold behind your leg to draw torso and thigh towards each other for a few deep breaths. Place your left hand at the top of the left thigh to stop yourself rolling over as you open the right hip out to the side. Take a few deep breaths into the open hip. And then bend the right knee, placing the right foot on the left knee. Stretch your right arm out to the side and keeping both shoulders anchored to the floor. Take your right knee with your left hand and draw it down to the floor on the left side of the body and breathe into that twist. Now release the twist and bend both legs, bringing the feet flat onto the floor. Open the right hip as you place the right ankle just above the left knee. And with your hands, draw the left thigh towards the chest. So we're really feeling that lovely opening of the right hip, and breathe into the glutes and the back of the pelvis as you release. And now release the posture. Hug both knees into the chest. Roll from left to right a few times and then repeat the sequence on the other side. Completely relax in Shavasana. Allow the hips to roll open, toes facing away from each other, palms up, arms away from the body. Tuck the chin in to make the neck long. You can place a bolster under the knees if you wish. And take a few minutes to deeply relax. Well done. We've come to the end